Hey, you guys. So today you guys are going to be working in Common Lit. So I kind of want to show you what my expectations are. As you can see, I'm in your Google Classroom. So you're going to go to classwork. And then tomorrow what we are doing is we are reading Common Lit Story of an Hour. So you guys are going to click on the Common Lit. It'll most likely ask you to log in. Just make sure you click log in with Google and it should take you there, okay? Obviously, this is not what your screen is going to look like. It should actually take you straight to Story of an Hour, okay, which is what this looks like. You'll have guiding questions off to the side so that you need to do, okay? You definitely, here's the reason why I'm doing this video, is because I want you guys to understand how to use the annotation tool, because if you were in class, you could choose to do this on paper, but because you guys are virtual, I need you guys to do all your annotating online. So you can have this open in your workbook. Okay, so you have your short story workbook. Okay, you can have the short story open, and because a lot of times it's easier to read something from a piece of paper instead of on the computer. So I have no problem with you reading it from the piece of paper, okay? But you're gonna have to show me all your annotations on here, okay? So you always have the option of doing both, okay? So what you guys are going to be doing when you annotate are the things that are on page 1, okay, of your workbook. So I might be, when I'm talking, I might be referring to things on page 1, okay? So basically, it gives you on here the steps that you're supposed to go through and then things to look for. That's all in your workbook. So step number 1 is to read the story once purely to enjoy it. So I want you guys just to read the story, okay? Read the story just to get an idea of what's happening. Then you're gonna read it again, okay? And it says to read it the second time, analyzing the language, okay? Which is right here. So see where it says language? So you'll circle words you don't know. You're gonna highlight interesting sentence structure. So like maybe like short sentences or like real big run-ons. Then you're going to also identify figurative language techniques. So look for metaphors, similes, personification, etc. Okay? So you're going to go through and do that. Then you're going to go back after you've done language and you're going to go back for content. Okay? So that's where, or not actually for content, you're going to do literary terms. So you're going to annotate it for plot. Okay? So look for elements of the plot. Where do they build suspense? Is there foreshadowing? Is there flashback? All of that kind of stuff. Talk about, put off to the side, whether it's like a first person narrator, second person, third person, all of that. So it literally tells you the literary elements on page 1 that you should look for, okay? And then make sure you go through for content. So write down any questions that you might have, like where are you confused? What do you think is weird that they did? Make connections, okay? So the connections can be to the world, to yourself, to other things you've read, any of that kind of stuff. And then underline or highlight anything that's noteworthy, anything that seems interesting, anything that is thought-provoking, and write those down. So you're gonna look at number 1 and you're gonna go through it and do all of these things that it says on page 1, okay? So here's how you do it. So you have your story here, and you're going to do this for anything that's in Common Lit. Okay, so that means even when we get into Lord of the Flies and Macbeth, and there's certain things that we do in Common Lit, you're always going to annotate in Common Lit. So right up here, there's this little highlighting thing. Okay, so when you click it, it turns on the annotations, okay? So basically all you gotta do is you're gonna highlight things, okay? So you can make this like a different color highlight for different things. Like I'm gonna click on that again. I'm gonna highlight this again though, because I don't want you just to highlight, okay? You also need to add text boxes. So this is what you would do is explain why you highlighted this, okay? And like you can then, if you want to add more, you can go to edit. If you click these 3 little dots, you can edit or delete it. but you're going to go all the way through the story and say, I don't know, do those things, but you're gonna highlight, then click, and then you can highlight it, and then once you're done highlighting, you need to do okay. You got to explain it. So you're going to go all the way through the story. Okay. Now I am going to warn you that I did turn on these guiding questions, which basically means that it's only going to let you read so far until you get this guiding question right. One reason is because I'm not there. So like it's only going to allow you to read through here, question number 1, and then you're going to have to answer this question correctly. And then I find out how many times it took you to answer that question correctly. You can go back and reread this to find the answer, okay? So don't just guess, okay? So when you're done with all of that, when you get done with all your annotating and your guiding questions, you still have the assessment questions. These are the questions that go in the grade book, okay? So if you'll look, it says like RL2. So however you do on this one, if you get it right, you get a 3. If you get it wrong, you get a 1, okay? You do not want 1s in 8th grade. So my other strong suggestion is when I return this to you with a grade, you can redo this assignment until you have all 3. So I would recommend you do that, okay? So that's kind of how I expect you to do Common Lit from home. If you have any questions, just send me an email. You are meeting with me today at 2:30. So Tuesday at 2:30, I want you on Google Meet so I can check in with you, see where you are, make sure you understand what's going on, okay? Okay, so I will see you guys later today.